Hey guys, Claire here. It's Sunday morning and I'm sipping my coffee and scrolling social media. And the articles concerning the coronation just gave me a chuckle. So I decided to come on and have a little conversation with you guys. Now, has it been like a week since it was revealed that Adele and Ed Sheeran had declined to perform at Charles's coronation concert? So, there's that. Then today I'm reading that Elton John, Harry Styles, and the Spice Girls have all turned down the performance slot for his star-studded coronation concert. And I couldn't help but chuckle. First of all, the reason that the final slew of celebrities have given for not performing is that they're busy. How busy are the Spice Girls, though? I mean, it's not like they're currently out here making albums and doing concerts like Adele, or Harry Styles. The Spice Girls are too busy? How? And correct me if I'm wrong, but just last month they were saying how much the Spice Girls, including Victoria Beckham, they're gonna be at the huge royal event. It's gonna be fantastic. Turns out that was a lie, but we already know if it comes from the Daily Mail, aka the Daily Fail, chances are it's a bunch of baloney. Elton John, the nerve of this man to even think to ask Elton John to perform. If it were me and I were Elton John, I'd be like, you know what? I'd love to perform, but I will be singing Candle in the Wind with a video montage of Diana in the back. If you want me to perform, that's it. That's what you're getting. That or nothing at all. So I'm not surprised that he turned it down. Harry Styles, good on you. But it's interesting that Charles seems to be having a lot of problems lining up huge current stars to perform at his concert. And the inner petty in me is loving it. It's interesting as well that not only is he having issues lining up really good celebrities for his concert, there was an article a couple days ago about a lack of volunteers for something that has to do with the coronation or events surrounding the coronation. So it hasn't really been smooth sailing for the coronation events for Chucky. And I love that. He deserves it. Did you guys hear also that Camilla has gotten Diana's former dressmaker to make her coronation dress? Charles and Camilla are messy. They're messy. And I feel like Camilla has sat in the background and planned this all out. As Harry said, being very dangerous, being very calculating and manipulative, and befriending people that would ultimately bring her the things that she desires most. She wanted to be his wife, and now she is. She wanted to be queen, and now she is. And now she's having her grandchildren take part in the coronation events. But I thought the argument was it's only for working royals. They're not working royals. They're not even royals, period. So that's interesting. I believe the article also said that the part of the coronation that Camilla wants her teenage grandchildren to be a part of was supposed to be fulfilled by duchesses. So that would be like Kate and Meghan. Well, Meghan's not working there anymore. So that's interesting. I remember the big hubbub they made about balcony, it only needs to be senior working royals. It wouldn't surprise me if soon enough Camilla had her kids get some sort of title and have her kids and grandkids be on the balcony. Behind the scenes, she's already had her ex-husband do like royal related duties for her. And her son, I believe, also works with the Daily Mail. So Camilla's really been having herself and her family deeply intertwined in a lot of these things that the British press and the rabid royalists are foaming at the mouth. Oh, Harry can't do that. Meghan can't do that. The kids can't do that because they're not working royals. Meanwhile, Camilla is making sure that she gets her things done her way behind the scenes. So, you know what? Like, I don't even care. I'm not a monarchist. I don't care about the royal family. I only sort of kind of pay attention to them as it relates to the hypocrisy when it surrounds Harry and Meghan and their children. But besides that, if it wasn't for Harry and Meghan, girl, I don't care. I don't care. You can have your Queen Camilla. You deserve that, miss. You deserve that. Queen Camilla and King Chucky. Good for y'all. Also, Princess Diana's brother did an interview and reveal that he would not be attending the coronation.
Coronation banquet of King Charles.
Can I just ask you, Charles, I imagine your feelings on that day might be quite mixed. I'll be totally honest with you, those of us with memories of your sister Diana, I think many of us, my generation, Fee's generation, we'll be thinking of her. And I hope that is not offensive, but I think she'll be in our minds.
I think it's very complimentary, actually. But I mean, obviously, I think of Diana every day, but in different contexts. And the whole royal thing doesn't really. I don't find it as interesting as a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? I just get on with my life, and I look after what I have to look after in the estate, and I have a career and write books, etc. So I don't really. People obviously assume that I care a lot about that side of things, but it's just a side.
And I hope Harry follows his uncle's lead. If they go, that's fine. I always love to see them. But personally, fingers are still crossed that they will miss that mess. Now, apart from the coronation problems for Charles, it's been interesting that a lot of the Commonwealth nations are also starting to be far more vocal and intentional with the things that they do, or rather the things that they are choosing not to do when it comes to their new monarch. Australia has decided to not put Charles on their $5 bill, which Queen Elizabeth currently is on, and I assume that was just some sort of arrangement that the new monarch would be on the bill as well. But they're deciding to put, local Indigenous people, I believe, of Australia, and good for them. I don't understand why any country would have a monarch of the UK on their currency, except the people of UK. I don't think that they need to be on Australia's money, on Canada's money, on the Eastern Caribbean currency. Speaking of which, they have decided that they're not, or even thinking about changing the current Eastern Caribbean currency that has Queen Elizabeth on it to reflect Charles's image. And I'm hoping that thought or intention continues to be a permanent thing. Eventually, I'm hoping that the newer batch of Eastern Caribbean currency, when it's released, has, regional heroes, people that are important to the Eastern Caribbean world. Not Charles. Definitely not Charles. And whenever William becomes king, not William either. So there's been a lot of dissension when it comes to Charles's new reign as a monarch. And I don't see that changing. And I think now that it's been revealed that after the coronation, Camilla will just simply be known as Queen Camilla, as opposed to Queen Consort Camilla, that people are not going to be happy with that. They're not happy with that now, because someone posted the comment section of the Daily Mail, and you can see there's a lot of people who are not into it. In the interview with Princess Diana's brother, one of the presenters was saying, on that day during the coronation, a lot of people worldwide are going to be thinking about Diana, are going to be thinking about all the horrible things that she's been through and, her untimely death, and the fact that is what her destiny was supposed to be. She was the one that's supposed to be Queen Diana. So there's that. I've even seen some people on social media saying that on the day of coronation, they will be changing their social media profiles to pictures of Princess Diana in solidarity. So there you go. Now, apart from that, we've seen that Prince Harry's book, Spare, has done far better than I feel like anyone would have imagined. It's the 6th week and it's still #1 New York Times bestseller. It's a global phenomenon. We've seen the British press really try to attack Harry, try to discredit the book in 1,000,001 ways. And it's not working because the book continues to be #1. And even on social media, we've seen a lot of people posting, they're going to their local libraries to get a copy of Spare so they can read and really hear Harry's story in his own words. And there's a ridiculous amount of wait times for the book. So the latest line of attacks is to put out a bunch of polls saying that Americans are tired of Harry and Meghan. The polls are saying, today there was a poll about Camilla being popular than Harry and Meghan. Then the next day it was a poll saying Prince Andrew was more popular in the US than Harry and Meghan. I'm like, you people aren't tired. Are you not tired of the BS? Really? Now, there are polls that are trustworthy, but polls are easily manipulated. And this is what the British press does. Manipulate, create news, create drama, lie. This particular TikToker did a really nice deep dive into why these polls are not to be trusted.
Well, it looks like another poll is out. At this point, it just feels like the British media and right-wing publications are hoping that if they say it often enough, that will make it true. That if they constantly run stories saying the American public hates Harry and Meghan, that eventually people who either don't watch the royals or don't know what's going on, they can eventually read something and say, oh yeah, don't most Americans hate them? Oh yeah, I think I read something somewhere that says that they don't like them. And let's look at some evidence, because it's just objectively untrue that they are incredibly hated here in America. Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, spends his 6th consecutive week as the #1 New York Times bestseller, and he broke the Guinness World Record for fastest selling memoir. The book also sold over 1 million copies in just the US alone. Meghan's podcast knocked Joe Rogan off the top spot on Spotify, and she won a People's Choice Award for it. Their documentary series on Netflix was the highest viewed documentary ever. The series had 1.69 billion minutes of viewing time in the US alone, just from December 12th to December 18th. And as you can see in this letter that Netflix shared with their shareholders, they attributed their success in Q4 to Harry and Meghan, among other successful shows like Stranger Things and Wednesday. They actually mentioned it multiple times. So no, they aren't hated in America the way that you want them to be. And I also made a video previously about these type of polls, except I was talking about Camilla. And I talked about how these polls are kind of pointless, mostly because the sample size is so small. I think they polled like 2,000 people in a country with over 300 million. And it's just so clear that they don't understand our culture, because we don't poll celebrities' popularity here, because online the Kardashians are pretty hated, but they're so incredibly successful that these polls mean nothing. So going back to my original point, they're just hoping that they can say this often enough so that way maybe Americans will think it.
Camilla and the British tabloid press are pure evil. How cruel do you have to be to write rumors about a child, telling the public that a child wasn't the son of the father that he grew up with, by spreading rumors that Major Hewitt was his father? But the simple fact is, that was debunked. Princess Diana met Major Hewitt a long time after Harry was born. And that had Camilla. Her need to rehabilitate her reputation at the cost of Harry. And at some points, William. And she served the gossip of the tabloids for decades. leaking private conversations between her, William, and Harry. I hope Camilla and her spin doctor rot in hell for all of eternity. And in case I need to remind anybody, or you're new here, this page is not a democracy. It's my monarchy. So any Meghan and Harry slander will be deleted and you will be blocked.
I gotta tell you, as an American, the more I hear about this Harry dude, the more I just like the guy. And I know that probably pisses off all the Brits like Piers Morgan and I don't know, David Beckham, whoever the hell else. I know they take their royal family very seriously over there. But as American, we find the whole thing kind of silly. His book is called Spare because he was a spare kid. You don't need the second son unless something really goes down. He's a spare just because of his birth order, right? Doesn't matter how hard you worked, what you did to earn your spot, to earn your keep. It's just you were first in line. This dude went off and drove Apache helicopters, fought in the war, served in the military, partied like a rock star. And then he grabbed himself a beautiful American girl. Yeah, she was divorced. Yeah, she was biracial. So what? But in this ridiculous, hierarchical, outdated, absurd, twisted family, that was not going to fly. And it wasn't going to fly for the British press. And that press and that family and that hierarchy was exposed. Because there was some bigotry going on. There was some backhanded dealings going on. You know, he had this evil stepmother he had to freaking deal with. Poor kid loses his mother at 12 years old. The best his pops can do is give him a little pat on the knee.
So today there was an article saying that Harry and Meghan are going to upstage the coronation with a photo of Archie released on the day. And let's not forget, the day of the coronation is Archie's birthday. And I'm sure Charles knows that, but... So, you're telling me a photo of a little boy can overshadow the coronation of a new king? If that's the case, then you guys know what we all know is that the significance and importance of the monarchy is fading fast. And if a picture of a toddler can take all the attention away from the crowning of your king, you guys really should focus on fixing the issues within the monarchy and within the family instead of spending all of your time and your energy stalking Harry and Meghan.
But, you know, in most of our families, there's all sorts of things that we're not allowed to talk about. May not have ever been spoken out loud, but some internal level we know, or we've been directly told, you just don't talk about those things with anybody, ever. It's almost like on pain of death. But you know, if you bring any of these things up, shit is going to hit the fan. People are going to freak out. And what usually happens when you bring up the abuse of the past, the neglect, the mistreatment, when Uncle so-and-so did this or Aunt so-and-so did that, somebody crossed boundaries, somebody didn't uphold their boundaries. Well, people feel this terrible sense of shame, like you're stepping into what you're not allowed to step into. And people feel this wave rush over them, and it's like they regress into this little kid and have a full-on temper tantrum, which usually creates so much drama and so much chaos that nothing ever actually gets dealt with. So we're stuck in this. We're stuck in this because anytime you try to resolve anything within that system, people freak out or people shun you. Nobody will talk about it, or somebody will twist your words around and permanently talk about what an awful, terrible person you are. And there's no way to resolve it within that family system. So we have to go elsewhere. We have to find somewhere else, like a counselor or other therapeutic avenues where we can actually deal with this stuff so that we can heal. Because usually if we stay stuck in the system and you think about Harry exiting stage left, well, He had to. He couldn't heal within the system. And at some level, I can relate, not to the riches, but to the toxic stuff that happens in families. It's common. It's common when people come our way that all sorts of things have happened. They may have tried to deal with it, or they may have just been taught to avoid. But we need to face these things, the most uncomfortable things, if we're going to heal. And heal, we can. We can heal if we face these things and walk that path with somebody who's been there. I know this.
You know that old adage that a picture is worth 1,000 words? Yeah, this might be a little more than that. I mean, truly, choose your fighter. Because I will tell you now, this girl, this was me as a child. She knows some bullshit when she sees it. I mean, from facial expressions to the flash, these pictures were posted to help, to promote this visit. I mean, these are some of the good photos.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.